Welcome to a new video, and thanks for joining me again for some great malicious compliance stories. Let's take a look at them, shall we? The first story is called I Didn't Go Above and Beyond. I was a bartender at a small chain restaurant. I'm also a student and I hope to be a pharmacist one day. As such, I was looking to make a career change so I can get to know the industry. I had made this intention very clear to my boss. I even told him in my interview. I had given this bartending job a solid year. This place had a very high turnover rate. After only a year, I was the most experienced bartender there. If that doesn't indicate how much this job makes you upward, I don't know what will. However, I thought my boss and I were close. I asked him for a letter of recommendation so I could start applying for pharmacy technician's jobs. In this conversation, I basically gave him a 2-month notice. More than fair. But this dude had the audacity to say, "I'm not sure you've earned a letter of recommendation. You really don't go above and beyond." I don't go above and beyond? I once babysat his kids for free when his babysitter had an emergency and there was no other manager to replace him. I've missed study groups and extra credit opportunities to cover shifts when needed. I've stayed overnight by myself to deep clean the bar. Oh boy, was I mad. I went to the corporate website and printed out the job description for bartenders. That was enlightening. Turns out most of the restaurants have hosts, barbacks, and janitors that pick up the phone and do most of the cleaning. We don't, and the only cleaning our job description specifies is glassware. Job description in hand, I got to work. Phones ringing? Not my job. Floors needed to be mopped? Not my problem. Every time my boss asked me to perform a task, I'd furrow my brows and start intensely reading my job description before answering, "Nope, too above and beyond for me." The best part is that I'm one of only 4 bartenders in a restaurant that opens from 11 to 2 every day. They physically couldn't afford to fire me without all the other bartenders leaving as well. This lack of control really bothered him, and I saw him start to realize how badly he messed up. But I wasn't done yet. Apparently, according to corporate policy, we have to make every drink using jiggers. This almost doubles the time it takes to make drinks. Up until then, I and everyone else had chosen to ignore this policy. But then, we had a party of over 100 people come in, and both of the co-workers I was supposed to be working with called off. This seemed like the perfect time to abide by corporate policy. I started painstakingly making every drink with a jigger, one by one. Drinks barely trickled out, and complaints soon started to trickle in. My manager asked me what the heck I was thinking. I pulled out my job description and told him that going against corporate wishes was a little too above and beyond. His shoulders slumped in defeat. We both knew there was nothing he could do. He started doing all the bartending on the service himself and let me casually take the seats. The best part is that I got a % of all the drinks he made that night. I got a job soon after, despite my lack of letter of recommendation. 2 more of my coworkers did too. They are still struggling to find solid employees. The manager still texts me often, asking to cover shifts. The next story is called Taking Out the Trash. I work as a route driver in the beverage delivery industry, mainly targeting bars and convenience stores. Needless to say, after years of doing this, I've run into more examples of the Peter Principle than I can count. It seems like every town has one. That one manager who's either too trashy or too incompetent to rise into the upper echelons of regional management. After 15 years lording over the sad little gas station kingdom, they've become frustrated, nitpicky, bitter and downright bad towards their staff and customers. Because what else are they going to do? Recently, one of our direct competitors absorbed another smaller local distributor and as a result ended up biting off more than they could chew. Too many new deliveries and too many new products made the skeleton crew they had run for years all but collapse. Seasoned drivers, who I've known and worked alongside for years, began dropping like flies. As a result, the company began hiring anything with a pulse and a commercial driver's license. Coolers started becoming messy as the product wasn't condensed, was being put in the wrong spot, or just left on the floor entirely. Well, last Tuesday rolls around and it is once again my time to endure the weekly 30 minutes of hell. I roll up to the gas station and truck in my 5 cars worth of product. As always, Karen is totally displeased with the order that the salesman placed and she'd okayed yesterday. So I endure the 5 minutes of her attitude while she checks the order in. I'm wheeling the first cart away after the check-in when I hear her shrill voice come cracking through the cooler door. "Clean up your mess. I have inventory tomorrow." I've been doing this for years and I take great pride in my work and customer service. I'm super focused on organization and product rotation, and I've developed quite a reputation amongst my customers as the only guy that you don't have to babysit. I get in and get out, my drinks are condensed and organized by product and expiration date. I cut no corners. Well, on this day I had a small order and was running a bit ahead of schedule, so after putting all my product away, I spent another 20 minutes or so cleaning and organizing the other guy's mountain of product. By the time I was done, I had amassed a huge stack of broken down cardboard and shrink wrap from all the products he had thrown on the shelf. I was somehow able to cram all this trash into the one box that I myself had brought in and headed out. Of course, Karen is there, waiting in the bedroom, where she does her reviews for the upcoming inventory. Jeez, took you long enough. Yeah, I took a bit of time cleaning and organizing your cooler, but it looks good in there. Well, it better after all the time you spent in there. I've been waiting for you. I still have to do my cooler reviews. I tossed the box full of cardboard on the pile by the back door and start heading out. Excuse me? Company policy says you have to take your own trash out. Now, I'm not a spiteful guy. Quite the opposite actually. I'm usually quite chipper and polite. Something about her smugness and lack of appreciation finally just made me snap. I turn around, walk to the trash pile, grab the box full of cardboard, and without breaking eye contact, I turn it over and vigorously check its contents all over the floor. Cardboard and shrink wrap went everywhere. I had really packed it in there, and it took a bit of effort to get it all out. This is the only box I brought in, and you should know that. You scanned it in. The other mess is your trash I cleaned up in your cooler. Have a good day. The combined look of rage and smugness on her face as I walked by with a grin was enough to make the rest of my day. I told my boss about it when I got back at the end of the day. He got a good chuckle out of it, since everyone else hates her as well. Of course, she called and complained. But, of course, my boss only responded with, "Well, he did what you told him to do. Nothing I can do about it. Sorry." I love my company. The last story is called No More Coffee. I work as a mechanic at a manufacturing plant in nowhere, America. I have been for over a decade now. Before I got assigned to my current location, the only way to get coffee here was to either bring some from home or pay $1 at a vending machine to get the cheap stuff. I decided to go with the first option, but took it even further by bringing my spare coffee maker from home and then bringing in the usual supplies periodically. I kept it in the mechanic's office in plain view. For the longest time, it was apparent that I was the only one using my coffee maker, even though I never said it was exclusively for me. This went on for about a year until I got a partner on my shift who also drank coffee. We came up with the idea of starting a coffee fund by leaving a jar for spare change next to the coffee maker. Whenever we ran out of something, like sugar or whatever, one of the two of us would use the accumulated change in the jar to help replenish our supplies. This was all well and good until my partner got promoted to maintenance supervisor some years later, making him my new boss, and I was by myself again. I left the jar sitting next to the coffee maker as usual and kept using the old routine. I also put a note on the side of the maker in plain view that said, "If you use the coffee maker, please put some spare change in the coffee fund jar so we can keep the supplies in stock." This was just in case someone from a different shift decided to use it when I wasn't there. However, one day I noticed that I was running out of sugar way too fast. I don't put much sugar in my coffee to begin with, so this told me that someone else was using the coffee maker. Eventually, I noticed that all the supplies were getting too low too fast, and not just the sugar. This normally wouldn't be a big deal, except I also noticed that the jar wouldn't accumulate like it used to. It either had the change I put into it, or someone would be taking change out but not restock our coffee supplies. I put up with this for a little while, but I eventually got fed up being the only one buying supplies for the coffee, while one or more others were using it and taking money out of the jar. I took the coffee maker home and just started filling up my thermos with coffee and bringing it to work with me. About a week later, I got stopped in the aisle by a supervisor, not mine, as I'm trying to leave for the day. The following exchange occurs. "Hey, what happened to the coffee maker? Did it break?" "I was wondering who else was using it." "Nah, it didn't break. I just got tired of people taking money out of the coffee fund jar without using said money to buy more supplies. I was still buying them out of pocket." "You took it home?" "Yeah, I've just been using my thermos to bring coffee." He cut me off. "You can't just take company property like that. You weren't the only person using it. We all used it. But it's..." He cut me off again. You either bring that back or I'm reporting this to your boss and we'll see what he's going to do about it. I'll bring it in if people actually contribute to the fund instead of me having to buy everything out of pocket. You'll do your job. My job is to fix these machines, not to be the company barista. It better be in there tomorrow or I'm going to your boss about it. He walks off before I could say anything else. The next day comes and I, of course, didn't bring my coffee maker back to the plant. At the end of my shift, the supervisor confronts me again. Did you bring the coffee maker back? Nah, I told you. I'm not going to be the only one supplying it. You can't just keep company property at home. That coffee maker has been in there for years and you need to bring it back. I know it's been in there for years. It's been in there as long as I've been here because I brought it from home. It's my coffee maker. I'm calling your boss right now and we'll see what happens to you. I laugh. Sure, go ahead, I don't care. You can tell me what to do with my personal property. And then walk out to my car and leave. While on the way home, my boss calls me. If you recall from earlier in the story, he used to be my partner. Even after his promotion, we remained close friends. The following conversation happens. I answer the phone and say, "Hey, what's up? I just got off the phone with the supervisor. What's all this about you taking company property home? That's not like you, man. What's he even talking about? He didn't tell you what it was?" "Nope. He just said you admitted to stealing company property and refused to return it." "Did you even ask what the supposed company property is?" "I did, but he wouldn't calm down enough to tell me." "Looked like you really got him mad." "Yeah, I know. Hey, you remember that coffee maker I had in the office way back when?" "Haha, yeah, the coffee font, right?" "Did anyone else beside us start using that thing?" "Man, did I ever tell you that I still haven't had a cup of coffee as good as how you made it back then? Why are you bringing this up anyway?" "Right. Don't tell me that the company property he was referring to is..." "Yeah, he's talking about my coffee maker." "Look, I know that's your personal property, but I really don't want him raising a stink about this to management. Nothing will come of it if he does, but it will just be a big waste of time for them to investigate and eventually write up some stupid company-wide email about property theft and blah blah blah. Just bring it back. I'm not going to be the only one supplying the coffee. How about this? Bring it back in, but keep a spare set of coffee supplies in your personal locker. Bring in some supplies for everyone to use at first. Even use the coffee font jar again. But after that initial stock, just only resupply for yourself. That way, if he or anyone else want to use it, they are going to have to bring in their own supplies when that initial stock runs dry. Is that okay with you?" I think I will do that. And that's what I did. The next day, I did as he asked, but I also kept additional supplies for myself in my personal locker. I didn't tell anyone else about this except for my boss. The supervisor confronted me yet again that same day. "I see you brought that coffee maker back." "Yeah, my boss asked me to." "You're lucky he didn't report you to human resources for it." "Report me to human resources for a coffee maker." "Yeah, okay. Whatever. Now we can all have our coffee again. No thanks to you. No thanks to me, yet it's my coffee maker. Don't get that tone with me. I'll call your boss and he'll straighten you out again." As planned, I let the initial coffee supply stock run dry without ever replenishing it. I also didn't contribute anything to the coffee font jar. This took about a week and there was never any change in the jar. The supervisor confronts me yet again. "Hey, we are completely out of creamer and sugar and the coffee tin itself is running low." "Yeah, okay. Don't you think you should get on that?" "I'm not the company barista." "Okay, but we don't have any creamer nor sugar." "Then buy some." "I thought you did that." "Oh, me?" "No, I had surgery that prevents me from pooping out creamer. Bring your own. You need to do your job." "I do my job. What do you do?" "Don't say your job, because your job isn't to pester someone to buy coffee supplies out of their own pocket, is it?" That's not very nice." "You're right. It's not very nice at all. It's also not nice to complain to my boss, because I won't bring my own personal property to work. Now is it? But we need coffee. Then bring your own. This isn't my job. If you want creamer, then you need to bring it in yourself. I'm not supplying the coffee anymore." I call your boss Call him then. He will tell you the same thing I just told you. And you'll have wasted your time. Just like how you're wasting my time now. I'm going home. Have a good one. I started walking out. Wait, come back. When I go in for the next shift, all the supplies are fully stocked. And they remain that way for good. Someone else has taken the responsibility of resupplying the coffee. I even noticed change in the jar regularly building up. I haven't contributed a single penny, but it's still filling up. Someone else has taken over handling the coffee supplies. I haven't asked who, but I think either the supervisor is doing it himself or he got someone else doing it. It's free coffee for me, so I don't really care. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, comment and subscribe. See you again soon. Bye bye.